I read your last note, it was obviously before this interview with President Trump. You were very bullish on Apple because you said, you know what, they're charging more for their phones, they're getting more for their phones, it's terrific. Is your view any different this morning, given what you heard from President Trump?
So, yeah, first, good morning, and thanks for having me on. When I think about Apple's shares, I think the China risk is the most significant risk to shares. Why is it important? One, the notion that a lot of their products are manufactured in China and on this tariff risk. And then number two, about 20% of their sales come from Chinese consumers. So to the extent you might see, patriotic purchasing, Chinese consumers wanting to buy products from China as a result of this prolonged trade war, I think this is a tremendous risk for Apple and one that we're monitoring closely.
And so how do you assess that risk? How do you price that in? What does it do, for example, your price target?
Yep, that's a great question. So all that as an introduction, I think that investors in general are underestimating the ability of companies like Apple to mitigate this tariff risk. So let's look at the recent success Apple's had in their iPhone sales. It's from selling fewer devices at higher average selling price points. So if you look, for example, the XR is 7.5% more expensive than the 8. So the least expensive new iPhone this year versus last year. So I do think Apple has pricing power and has the ability to offset or pass through potentially the 10% tariff to consumers, so it may not be as damaging as some investors fear.
Okay, finally, just as a trading matter rather than investing, Tom, as you look forward to this G20 meeting, if in fact at least they call a truce, don't have an oral deal, but call a truce and say we won't go forward with more tariffs, at least while we're talking, what does that do to Apple? Is there a possible upside here?
Absolutely, because that would alleviate the greatest risk to the stock right now to the extent that it would eliminate concerns on tariffs, and I think that would be a short-term boost for shares for certain.